Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So I told you guys before that I was going to bring to you the signs that abusers, how they can pick up on you, how they know that you are the one they want to groom. Okay, let's get into this list. I got my handy dandy notebook, so I'm going to tell you guys. And let me just say this. Most of these things are things that I experienced myself. This isn't about every person, but I'll tell you, it kind of rings true about a lot of things. So here we go. Number one thing they look for, low self-esteem. And you guys, I know this sounds like a lot of us don't think we have low self-esteem, but we do. And those groomers, those abusers, it's like a magnet. They can smell the low self-esteem or the lack of confidence you have, and they use that and they pounce. They love bomb you. They make you feel so good. They make you feel so good because they know that you have low self-esteem. So they're telling you all these great things about yourself. And here's the thing. Those things are probably great about you. But when you're hearing them from somebody like this, it feels so good. They're just trying to build up this trust in them with the things that they're telling you about yourself. Somebody who has limited support, or you're already isolated. And when I say limited support, it's usually not a strong family bond. And if you do have a strong family bond, they try to break that down. They try to make you think that the people around you really don't know what they're talking about. But I know in my case, I didn't have a dad in the home. I didn't have uncles. I didn't have a brother. I had a cousin who was miles away in Maryland when I was in Chicago, but it wasn't there. There was nobody standing there to protect you, is really what it is. And they look for that. They'll ask you all these questions about yourself, and us, we're just so naive, giggly, tell me about your life, tell me about your family. And then this is the thing, we give them the entire playbook, so they know what they're getting, and they know immediately that we are ones that they can groom. Because when you say, oh, they may say, do you have siblings? That's a question they're asking on purpose. They want to know if you have a brother or if you have a dad. Oh, are your parents still together? Do you have siblings? What does your family look like? They're trying to find out the family dynamic, because if there's a man there, they know that they don't have a chance in Hades to get away with the crap that they're going to try to pull. They're looking to make sure you don't have the support of loved ones. And it's really quite sad, and it's kind of tacky, but it's what they do. They also look to see if you've had past trauma or past abuse. And I'm only speaking about myself. Excuse me. But I have childhood trauma. I had some traumatic things happen when I was younger. And the dad thing, my dad wasn't there. So I was traumatized by growing up in a household without a father figure or a male figure. And so they look for that. They know that the abuse or the past trauma goes right together with the lack of confidence and a low self-esteem. So you have the low self-esteem, you have the no support, not the strong family support or support of friends or whomever, somebody that's big and strong that can kick some AZZ. You don't have that. And then you have, along with the limited support, then you have the past trauma or the abuse. And so they know that, okay, it's all like a pot that they're cooking all of this stuff in. They're making this recipe. It's a recipe for an abuser because it's easy. And then what usually happens is people who are being groomed are usually very compassionate or empathetic. So anything that this person does we're always like, oh, they probably didn't mean to do that, or we're always trying to rationalize the bad behavior of the abuser. No, they know what they're doing. They're doing it on purpose. It's purposeful, sis. It's purposeful. Also, along with the empathy is our desire to be loved, which again goes back to the lack of confidence, the low self-esteem, the no support, the past trauma, and looking for love and approval. Because like myself, who didn't have a dad in a home, I may not have thought that I was looking for approval, but I probably was. I probably was. And I wasn't so much a people pleaser, because these are one of the traits, but I was young. They look for people who have inexperience or youth, and I was young. 19 years old is not a lot that you know about relationships at that time. And so those things made me vulnerable. I fell in love, and then right when you all these little things are sprinkled into the pot. So when the low self-esteem and the isolation and the limited support and the past trauma, and then you're so empathetic, so compassionate, so overly trusting, and you just want to please this person. Oh my God, because you know why? They're making you feel so good. And so now you want to please them. Now you're pleasing them. And so that's getting thrown in a pot too. Don't let it be a thing where you need to be financially dependent on someone, because honey, an abuser, they'll take care of you, but they will let you know about it. They'll make sure that they are the ones footing the bill. And then you have this type who will say to you, you can't work. You can't work. I'm going to take care of you. Red flag, honey. Red flag. If somebody does not want you to be independent, it's because they're trying to isolate you and get you away from the people that love you so they can pounce on you. These abusers are so sickening. And a lot of the times, these things go on in our daily lives sometimes, and we don't even know. We don't even know that this is what's happening. We don't know that this is what the abuser is doing. And we sometimes ourselves have to be careful about the people that we love and how we're treating them and the things we're saying to them, because we don't want to be a person that's abusing our loved ones. That's not what we want to do. That's not. And so you guys, I'm saying this because I had my experience with 2 abusers. One was a mental abuser that turned physical in the end. And then again, I got into another relationship with a guy who physically hurt me. And he wasn't displaying the kind of mental abuse that the first husband was doing, but he eventually started to do little weird things, and I'll tell you guys in the next video what these abusers do. If you have identified yourself in any of these traits, I'm telling you, take another look at yourself. Take a look at the relationship that you're in. And let me tell you this, sis. You are worthy. You are worthy. God created you. He created you beautifully. And you belong here. And who you are is good. The person that you already are is perfect. The person that you already are is perfect. Everybody's not gonna like it, but that's not your business. People who don't like what you are has nothing to do with you. That's on them. So if you have identified yourself as maybe you feel like you have low self-esteem, Maybe you don't have a strong support system. Maybe you have some past trauma. Maybe you're a people pleaser. Maybe you're young or inexperienced in the area of love or relationships. Maybe you have some mental health challenges. Maybe you're overly trusting. Maybe you're too compassionate or empathetic. And then you turn around and look at your partner and identify how you're being treated. And if anything makes you feel slightly uncomfortable, that's your gut. That's the God in you telling you this isn't right. It's not coincidental. Nothing is coincidental. Whatever you feel, if you feel like something is wrong, you're probably right. You're probably right. So, I say this again to you. You're strong, you're wonderful, you're beautiful, and you got this. And if you are in a relationship with someone who is physically or mentally abusive, you can get out. And we'll discuss that later. In the next video, please come back and I'll talk about the signs of these groomers. Ooh. Some of y'all may be the groomer, and I'm sorry. But this is the perfect time to take a look in the mirror. If that's you, check your behavior and treat your partner better. All right. See you guys in the next video. Thank you. Bye.